Today, we delve into the terrifying power of nature with the 5 deadliest tsunamis ever recorded. These monstrous waves, driven by forces far beyond our control, have carved their place in history with a devastating touch. Join me as we journey across time and continents, exploring the events that led to these cataclysmic events. We'll uncover the science behind these natural disasters, and witness the sheer scale of destruction they unleashed upon the world. But most importantly, we will remember the human stories, tales of survival, resilience, and the enduring spirit of those who rebuilt their lives from the ruins. Stay tuned as we uncover the devastation and human stories behind these catastrophic events. On December 26, 2004, as the world celebrated Boxing Day, a cataclysm was brewing beneath the Indian Ocean. Off the coast of Sumatra, Indonesia, the Earth's tectonic plates shifted, unleashing an earthquake of colossal magnitude, between 9.1 and 9.3 on the Richter scale. The seabed lurched upwards, displacing trillions of tons of water and sending shockwaves rippling across the ocean basin. The result? One of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history, the 2004 Indian Ocean Tsunami. Traveling at speeds exceeding 500 miles per hour, the tsunami grew into a towering wall of water as it approached shallower coastal areas. Coastal communities, unaware of the silent threat, went about their day. The first signs were deceptive, an unusual retreat of the sea exposing the ocean floor. But this retreat was merely a prelude to the onslaught. Waves, some reaching 100 feet in height, crashed into the shores of Aceh, obliterating everything in their path. Buildings were reduced to rubble, trees uprooted, and entire villages vanished. The official death toll in Indonesia alone exceeded 170,000. Thailand, Sri Lanka, India, and even countries as far away as Somalia felt the tsunami's wrath. Tourist havens transformed into disaster zones as the waves swept away holidaymakers and locals alike. In the aftermath, stories of incredible survival emerged, tales of people clinging to debris for days, of children miraculously reunited with their families. The world mourned the loss of over 230,000 lives, prompting a global effort to improve tsunami warning systems and disaster preparedness.
I remember that day vividly. The sea pulled back so far, revealing things I'd never seen before. Then, the wave came. We lost so much, but somehow, we found the strength to rebuild.
The year is 1908. The place, the Strait of Messina, separating mainland Italy from Sicily. In the early hours of December 28th, as the residents of Messina slumbered, the earth beneath them stirred with a vengeance. A massive earthquake, later estimated at magnitude 7.1, ripped through the region. Buildings crumbled into dust, and the streets were choked with debris and the cries of the injured. But the earthquake was only the harbinger of a greater catastrophe. The tremors triggered underwater landslides, unleashing a monstrous tsunami upon the unsuspecting coastline. Waves as high as 40 feet surged towards Messina and the surrounding areas. The tsunami crashed ashore, engulfing entire neighborhoods and tossing ships like toys. Messina, once a beacon of Sicilian culture, was reduced to a tableau of ruin and despair. Hospitals, already overwhelmed with earthquake victims, were inundated by the tsunami's onslaught. Across the strait, the Calabrian coast of mainland Italy suffered a similar fate. The combined fury of the earthquake and tsunami claimed an estimated 80,000 lives. The disaster prompted a massive relief effort, with nations around the world sending aid and support. From the ruins emerged stories of resilience, of communities coming together to rebuild their lives.
The devastation was beyond comprehension. Entire neighborhoods were wiped off the map. But amidst the rubble, we saw the strength of the human spirit. People came together, helping each other rebuild, piece by piece.
Chapter 3. Lisbon's Darkest Day. The Great Lisbon Earthquake and Tsunami of 1755. November 1, 1755 dawned bright and clear in Lisbon, Portugal. A day of celebration, a day of faith. It was All Saints' Day and the city was adorned in its finest. But fate had a cruel trick in store. Beneath the bustling streets, the earth was restless.
Shortly before 10 a.m., a tremor, barely perceptible at first, rippled through the city. Then, with a deafening roar, the earth erupted. The Great Lisbon Earthquake, estimated at magnitude 9, unleashed its fury upon the unsuspecting city. Buildings swayed violently, their facades crumbling. Walls collapsed, burying those within. The earthquake, its epicenter off the coast of Portugal, had stirred the Atlantic Ocean into a frenzy, generating monstrous waves. As the earth continued to tremble, the sea receded from the harbor, a chilling prelude to the cataclysm. Then the tsunami struck. Walls of water, some over 30 feet high, crashed into Lisbon's harbor, inundating the city's waterfront. The lower-lying areas of Lisbon were swallowed whole. The tsunami surged inland, carrying away people, buildings, and even the ground beneath their feet. The death toll was staggering, with estimates ranging from 60,000 to 100,000 souls lost. The disaster shook Europe to its core, sparking debates about the nature of God, the role of science, and the meaning of suffering.
Chapter 4. Krakatoa's Wrath. The Eruption and Tsunami of 1883. The year is 1883. In the Sunda Strait between Java and Sumatra lies Krakatoa, a volcanic island. Beneath the surface, a cauldron of molten rock and pressure was building.
On August 26th, Krakatoa awoke with a deafening roar. A series of eruptions shook the island, spewing ash and pumice that darkened the sky. The sound of the explosions was heard thousands of miles away. The eruptions continued for days, each blast sending shockwaves through the atmosphere.
The once lush island began to disintegrate, its slopes collapsing into the sea. On August 27th, Krakatoa unleashed its most devastating blow. A cataclysmic eruption, one of the most powerful in recorded history, ripped the island apart. The explosion generated a series of tsunamis, monstrous walls of water radiating outwards.
These were towering behemoths, some over 100 feet high, propelled by the eruption. The tsunamis crashed into the coastlines of Java and Sumatra, obliterating coastal towns and villages. The death toll from the Krakatoa eruption and tsunamis is estimated to be over 36,000. The eruption had a profound impact on the global climate, causing a drop in temperatures and creating spectacular sunsets for months.
Chapter 5. The Tohoku Earthquake and Tsunami, a nation reeling. March 11, 2011 began like any other day in Japan. But at 2:46 p.m. local time, a magnitude 9.0 earthquake struck off the coast of Honshu. The quake, centered deep beneath the Pacific Ocean floor, unleashed a chain of events that would forever alter the nation's landscape.
The Tohoku earthquake was a monster that awoke from a centuries-long slumber. The seabed lurched upwards, displacing an immense volume of water and setting in motion a series of monstrous waves. As the ground shook violently for 6 minutes, buildings swayed, infrastructure crumbled, and people clung desperately to stability. But even as the earth quieted, a far greater threat was approaching the coast.
The tsunami, traveling at speeds exceeding 500 miles per hour, raced towards the Japanese mainland. Then, the waves struck. Walls of water, some over 130 feet high, slammed into Japan's northeastern coastline. Entire towns and villages were swallowed whole, their structures reduced to matchsticks. The tsunami surged miles inland, its destructive reach amplified by Japan's low-lying coastal plains. The disaster's most haunting image was the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, its reactors crippled and on the brink of meltdown. The tsunami had knocked out the plant's cooling systems, setting in motion a nuclear crisis. The Tohoku earthquake and tsunami claimed over 15,000 lives, leaving countless others injured and displaced.
But amidst the devastation, stories of resilience and hope emerged. Neighbors helped neighbors. Strangers shared food and shelter, and a nation rallied to rebuild their lives and honor the memory of those lost.
Thank you for watching. As we've journeyed through these tales of devastation, we've witnessed the awesome and sometimes terrifying power of nature. Tsunamis, those monstrous waves, stand as stark reminders of our planet's raw energy and the respect we must have for its might. But amidst the wreckage, we've also witnessed the unyielding spirit of humanity. From the ruins of Lisbon to the shores of Japan, we've seen communities rebuild, stronger and more resilient than before. We've seen compassion bloom in the face of adversity, and hope endure even in the darkest of hours. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more content on the incredible and sometimes terrifying power of nature. Have you ever experienced a tsunami or any similar natural disaster? Share your story in the comments below.